I was working on a video about the primordial one, but it looks like Hoyo decided to put out a trailer for Not Long. You know, the big trailer that reveals some of the characters. And just letting you know, I watched this trailer last night. It was really exciting. It was really fun. I spent some hours analyzing this trailer and, researching the origins of some of these names here and predicting, coming up with ideas of where the story of Notlan might go based off of this trailer. So yeah, today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about what I think is up with Notlan and what's up with some of these characters. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about some stuff. So, last episode, I made the decision to not actually play the video just because YouTube might get mad at me. This time around, I think I will risk it for the biscuit. I think I'm confident enough that I will be able to do a sufficient amount of the commentary thing us YouTubers are supposed to do without getting like a copyright strike or anything. So anyways, yeah, let's go. Let's look at this teaser.
Ready? Let's go!
Beautiful shot, by the way. Beautiful landscape. And by the way, the last Notlan video that I posted, I apologize that I was assuming it was based solely off of Latin America. I was very much going in with that assumption when I made the video. And looking back at it, and a couple of people pointed this out in the comments, Notlan is probably a commentary on indigenous tribes all over the globe. And when I heard that, it clicked for me. We have these 6 different tribes. That's actually, a really compelling idea for a region. And so this sort of looks like the quote-unquote hydro region for me, right? This looks like the springs source that was described in the Unfinished Reverie artifact set. I believe this to be based off of the Polynesian islands, right? And someone pointed out to me in the last video that, yeah, this kind of looks like the Polynesian, this area kind of gives off the vibes of it being based off of the Polynesian islands, and especially if we look at Moalani, who we see in just a bit.
Attention, please! Kachina will now release the ball to promote the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, this is very much, and I'll get rid of captions here, but yeah, this is very much looks like Polynesian inspired clothing. And I don't know how it just flew over my head the last episode, and I apologize if I came off as insensitive about complaining about this design. But yeah, now that I see the Polynesian-inspired clothing, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I actually dig this character quite a bit now. Moalani. And by the way, her eyes are very cool looking. They almost look like tiny little... It's really cool. Anyways, yeah, let's go.
Kachina will now release the ball to promote the upcoming tournament. Huh? Gotta get a photo to remember it. Hey, that's too close. Huh? Oh.
She's great too. Okay, so this character here, her name is Kachina, and I would like to say that I was right. I was right last episode. I said that we're probably going to get some, so-called North American indigenous tribes in Notlan. And I'm correct, because this character's name is Kachina, and the Kachina are spirits. I have this written in my notes. Kachina are spirits in Puebloan culture. And that's located in modern-day southwestern. That tribe is located in modern-day southwestern so-called United States. And so I would just like to say that I am correct. That, yeah, this character is probably based off of that tribe in that region. I'm seeing some people on the internet saying that these two might come from the same tribe, and I don't think that is the case. Because if you look at the clothing of these two characters, very, very different. Like, it's telling a completely different story. This is very much, Molani here, very much Polynesian-inspired clothing, and Kachina, has that sort of, like, Zenless Zone Zero feel, but also, if we even just look at the tattoos and, like, the markings, like, Molani here has these sort of, like, rounded markings on her skin, while Kachina's clothing, it's, like, very angular. You have this triangle up here, and these, like, angular shapes on the gem on her forehead. And yeah, I don't believe these two to come from the same tribe. I believe that Kachina comes from a different tribe based off of Puebloan culture. Yeah. And by the way, I am not an expert in most of this, actually. I've just done research, and I've done like most of last night and most of this morning. And so if I say something incorrect, or if you guys want to correct me down in the comments, please do, because I am in no way, shape, or form an expert in indigenous cultures around the globe. I'm definitely more familiar with, like, some West Coast North American indigenous cultures, but not a lot of the cultures that are portrayed here in this teaser. This ball, by the way, I just like to talk about this ball. This ball is, like, a reoccurring thing this entire teaser. Like, Kachina throws it, and it's, like, being thrown around to some of the... I don't think this ball is going to be important when it comes to the story. It's just, like, a purple and green ball with the markings of the different tribes on it. I think it's cool, but there's nothing about this ball that denotes it, that makes me think that this is a special ball, right? I think this is just a ball that was created for this teaser, and maybe it is a thing in the actual game. Maybe this ball is like a signifier that the games are coming. The tournament is about to start. And as we see later in the trailer, spoiler alert, there is a tournament. There is a competition that is going to happen. This character is so cool, by the way. Okay. So this character here, his name is Kinich, and this character here, its name, I don't know this dino, but this little dino's name is a How, and it's spelled a jaw, but it's pronounced a How. So now you folks know that. If you pronounce a How's name as a jaw, I will be very mad at you. And, if Genshin pronounces this little guy's name as a jaw, I will also be extremely upset. But yes, anyways, I was wrong. I thought that this Dendro character would be based off of, like, Navajo culture. Like, this character would come from a tribe based off of Navajo culture, because, like, to me, the geometric markings reminds me a lot about Navajo culture, but apparently I'm incorrect, because his name is Kinich, and do I have it here? Yeah, Kinich is based, is the Yucatec name of the Maya sun god, which I did not catch that. Because, yeah, I am not an expert in Mayan culture, but it's cool that we have that is part of a tribe based on the Polynesian islands in Molani. That we have a character off of Puebloan culture, and then now we have a character that presumably is based off of, it comes from a tribe based off of Mayan culture. Really cool stuff. So yeah, and also like if you notice the particles, like the green cubic particles, that's really interesting to me. Like, okay, Dendro in Genshin Impact is very much the Magitech element, right? It's weirdly like the most high tech element, right? And the presence of a how here is paired with like the green cubic particles says to me that like yeah, this person is like Kinich does have like very futuristic powers, and that's really interesting to me because I like where does he draw his power from? Is this a situation where like I have no clue actually. I can't even begin to speculate. Like my first thought was that like cubes have like have a connotation with Celestia. Celestia has those like dark red, almost black cubes, but I don't think Kinich's power stems from Celestia. I do not believe that. And I certainly don't believe that this little creature here is connected to Celestia in any way. I mean, maybe. But yeah, the fact that this character Kinich also seems to be based off of like arcade games and stuff. His design is like very punk, by the way. This hair and the general attitude that he brought in the previous teaser and in this one, I guess. He says and then just pass, right? Like yeah, that's very much like sorry, I muted it. Very much a I don't know. For me, he gives off punk vibes, and I really enjoy that Notlan seems to be leaning in with indigenous cultures mixed in with modern day punk. I feel like that is an interesting route to go down, and I'll talk more about it in a later section in this video, probably when we talk about the Pyro Archon, which, ooh, I am so excited to talk about. But yeah, Kinich, I absolutely love his design, and I am so... It's so cool that his companion, like, his Guoba, or his Guoba is a 2D pixelated little creature. I love him so much. Okay, this is Sitlani, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but also, take a look at this. She has a cryovision. I thought she would, like, because of her color palette, I thought she might, like, she definitely electro, right? But apparently not. She has a cryovision here, very clearly. So that's interesting. But anyway, oh, and by the way, look at her. I love Genshin eyes. Like if Genshin Impact is good at one thing, all of their characters have unique eyes. And this is no exception. I love her eyes. Anyways, Sitlani, that name is of Aztec origin, and you can kind of deduce that from this sort of like feathered headdress esque sort of piece that's on her head. Can I see, is there like a better, okay, this might be a better shot of it. But yeah, there's this like this headdress sort of piece with all of these feathers, and that's like that is very reminiscent of Aztec culture. But also, these feathers kind of remind me of Sakuk. Sakuk, who was one of the characters in the Unfinished Reverie. She was the half-bird girl who survived the freeing of the Saurians and the death of the tyrannical king in that story. And she went on to collect her little trinkets in the mines and disappear, and no one really knows where she went. But yeah, like I assume that the tribe based off of the Aztec culture, I believe that Citlani is a descendant of Sakuk, and that Sakuk and Citlani came from the tribe based off of the Aztec culture. So yeah, cool stuff.
Leave me alone!
Oh, wait. I also want to talk about her tattoos. Take a look at her tattoos. Upside down triangle on both her cheeks and her forehead, and even a little bit like on her arms. Which is going to be important when we look at the next character. By the way, I need to sneeze, so sorry if I sneeze in the next, 15 seconds.
Leave me alone!
These birds.
Leave me alone!
These birds are interesting. I'm not familiar with what these birds might be based off of. If anyone down in the are a bird expert, then yeah, please let me know. But I'm not familiar with these types of birds. Okay, yeah, this is our this is our like dominatrix, so to speak, character of Natlan. Okay, so yeah, her name is Zilonin, or Zilonin. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. But ooh, she is really. She is also probably from the same tribe as Sitlani, because if you look in her hair, which it's so weird that like some of these characters have like markings in their hair, because that's not usually where tattoos go. But anyways, yeah, we have the simple triangle design again, like the upside down white triangle and then the right side up yellow triangle. And you know, tattoos are meant to distinguish between different tribes and families and indigenous cultures. So I believe that because Zilonin has similar tattoos to Sitlani, that they might be from the same tribe. And her design is also, if you look at her tail and her ears, she looks like a jaguar. She looks like a jaguar, and Hoyo knows exactly what they're doing. But yeah, she looks like a jaguar, and this is because she's probably based off of the Aztec jaguar warriors. And that's a really cool design. And that might tell us a bit about her character, like her personality, because the way the Aztecs, like the way someone becomes a jaguar warrior is that they capture a total of 4 enemies. Not killing them. You don't kill 4 enemies to become a jaguar warrior. Rather, you imprison them. And that is because killing is described as like a bit clumsy, right? And that might denote an attitude in Natlan where we can see that violence is not wanton, right? People were expecting a war-torn land, like a war-torn battlefield, volcanoes and stuff, and were pretty surprised when they discovered that like Natlan was actually pretty colorful. But that to me says that is a region that like respects the art of combat, and like combat can't be messy. Like there's a sense of honor to it. You can't just wantonly like brutally murder your foes. That maybe like capturing them is more honorable, right? And that's what this jaguar warrior sort of design says to me, that the combat in Natlan is ritualistic, it's honorable, and there is like a code that people must follow if they are to engage in combat. By the way, blue and pink ponytail? That's kind of sick, though. Geo Vision, of course.
It's that time of year again.
Eon-san. We see Eon-san briefly in this teaser. I will be honest, I don't know. I've researched for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. I haven't found anything definitive, or like definitive enough where I am comfortable enough to tell you guys. I haven't found anything really concrete about where the name Eon-san comes from. I've heard like conflicting sources, and because I'm not an expert in this, I don't feel comfortable telling you guys like, oh yes, this is exactly where the name Eon-san comes from. Looking at her skin tone, she's the darkest of our cast in Natlan, and to me, I like my assumption, my guess is that like perhaps her tribe is based off of a tribe in Africa, like maybe like Nigeria, like in the Nigeria, that region. I'm just not sure where the name Eon-san comes from, but I like my assumption, and maybe I'm wrong. Please tell me if you guys have any ideas down in the comments, but I'm guessing that her tribe is probably comes from is based off of one of the African tribes. Because if we're talking about indigenous cultures all over the world, then like, yeah, Africa's a pretty big place. And by the way, I realize that it's problematic that I'm referring to Africa as like the whole of Africa, because that in itself is problematic. We're lumping an entire a whole plethora of cultures into like one country. That's like saying, oh, something is European, even though like there are lots of countries in Europe. I realize that that's problematic, and I apologize. I am not very familiar with that region, though. So yeah, I don't know where Eon-san, where her tribe could have drawn inspiration from, but I'm excited to find out. This person, by the way, Chaska. Chaska, okay. Okay, I guess this is like the best shot we're gonna have of her. Do we get to see her heels? I remember we get to see her heels. I'm gonna skip around. All right. So Chaska's, by the way, she has a cryovision. Cool. Chaska, her design, she's based off of Spanish conquistador. It's very obvious with the hat, and even like her boots, right? There are these like I forget what they're called. I think they're called I'm blanking. They're called spurs. And basically what they do is like when you ride a horse and you have like a spur on your boot. Uh, when and by the way, I don't condone animal cruelty. This breaks my heart. What you do is you kick your horse with the spur, and because there's like this sharp pointy thing, it hurts the horse. The horse goes in the opposite direction when you kick the horse with the spur. So that's what that is. And then there's the hat that's very reminiscent of like a Spanish conquistador. That is obviously her design. And I think I talked about it in my last Natlan video, where I thought like the Pyro Archon would be based off of a Spanish conquistador if because this sort of design in this specific region that has a lot of that draws a lot from Latin America. This design symbolizes like colonization and power, and that might be a fitting design for the Pyro Archon. And of course, like in the story, that's definitely going to have to be handled very carefully. We see here that there's very obviously this character who's based off Spanish conquistador. And yeah, I really hope Hoyo does not fumble the ball with this one. Quite literally. I hope they portray a respectful I hope the story is very, very respectful. The Natlan story. I hope that we are not meant to sort of sympathize or back these sort of looking characters while like thinking the rest of the cast like they need to be quote unquote fixed or whatever. Like that would be the worst case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, this design is like the implications here are it could lead to very problematic roads, but I hope it doesn't. Is what I'm trying to say. Let's go back. This, by the way, this city, or not this city, it's revealed this is an arena. In my last video, I posited that it was like a city based off of like Coast Salish architecture with like the totem poles. I'm not correct. I am very much incorrect. This is an arena. And this looks like it is the central city of Natlan, like this arena. You know how like Mondstadt has Mondstadt City, Liyue has Liyue Harbor, Inazuma has Inazuma City, Sumeru has Sumeru City, Fontaine has the court of Fontaine. This is probably like the central area of Natlan. Or this could be similar to what we saw in Fontaine, where Fontaine had the court of Fontaine, but also right across from it, they had the Opera Epiclese. So, maybe this is the Opera Epiclese of Natlan. This is like a very important structure that they have, but not the main city. Because as we can see, like this is not a city. This is an arena where people fight, presumably. Okay, and that, and then we come to the Pyro Archon. Well, okay, it's not confirmed that she's the Pyro Archon. Look at her. Himiko is in the game. This is the Pyro Archon. Change my mind. And I don't think anyone's gonna try to change my mind, because I think everyone agrees. Like, this is definitely the Pyro Archon. Her name is Mavuika, by the way. Cool. And I've seen people saying that her design does not look like it fits with what they envisioned for Natlan. And that's a very fair point, because if you look at her outfit, it looks like she's like a motorcyclist, right? This is like very much like leather, right? Her clothing is very much leather like punk rock. She looks like she's one guitar away from delivering like a metal concert, right? And she has these sunglasses, which is crazy. And there's like this star cutout on her outfit. And you can definitely see like she has earrings and like this trinket over here, and that are like invoke images of the sun and like are made out of gold. And there's definitely hints of like Aztec culture and Aztec accoutrement, if you will. But the majority of this outfit, what you first see upon looking at this character design, is that this looks very, very modern. Very, very motorcyclist, very, very punk rock. The glasses just like solidify that, right? Look at her. And by the way, her hair is gorgeous. And also like her hair has that sort of like tattoo design thing, which it's so silly that people like tattoo their hair in this video game. That's not where tattoos go. That's not where markings go. But I don't know, tell me down in the comments, like, is it like, do some indigenous cultures have a custom of like, I guess like painting or marking their hair in certain ways? If so, then that's so cool. And like, yeah, I apologize for kind of making fun of it because, yeah, like if that's a thing, then that's awesome. Anyways. Her eyes are like, we'll see them in a bit. By the way, like, her heels as well, like, these sort of, like, flame things that are coming out from them. Yeah, very modern, very punk rock. That is what I think of when I see Mavuika's design. Her eyes have, like, blazing suns inside of them. That is so cool, dude. That is so metal. And this choker is what... Oh, my... Okay, I will tell you why I love her design so much in just a second.
The tournament will soon begin. My dear friends, take your positions. Embrace your competitive spirit and give your all. This battle is for winners only. The champion will take all.
Okay. All right. Now, let's count. Let's do a little bit of counting, right? How many scenes do we have after Mavuika's insanely cool introduction, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And okay, we will talk about this in just a second. This is super cool, but we have 6 scenes right after Mavuika's speech, and people are that symbolizes that these 6 the characters in these 6 scenes all come from different regions. And I agree with that, but also people use this sort of detail as an excuse to presume that these 2 also come from the same tribe. Again, I don't think that to be the case. I think Mualani comes from a different tribe than Kachina. And I also think that comes from the same tribe as, not him, but Sitlani. That's my guess. Now, we can talk about this. Guys, this is Capitano. This person's name is Auroron. And this is presumably the Pyro Arc. Mavuika, who we just saw. Or Mavuika. Yeah, I don't know why I said Mavuika. Mavuika. And it's so cool that she can turn into a phoenix, by the way. That is so metal. And and then she turns back into a human. That is so cool.
Are you brave enough to compete?
Okay, let's talk a bit about that. Who that? That person's new. Who is he? Okay, so my immediate reaction is, that's Capitano. This is someone we've never seen before, but this person is with Capitano. This person's working with Capitano. This person is working for the Fatui. Is this the 10th Harbinger? Is this like the missing Harbinger? That was where my mind went immediately. Like, instinctually, that is what I thought without, like, doing any, like, critical thinking, like, whatsoever. That was where my mind went. Because if this is the 10th Harbinger, right, where has he been, like, all this time? Where has he... It's so interesting to me why we've never heard of a 10th Fatui Harbinger. You know, people were speculating that Diluc's father, Kripus, was a Fatui Harbinger, was the 10th Fatui Harbinger before he died. That explains why Kripus had a delusion. But I'm starting to think that this person, Auroron, might be the 10th Harbinger. Genshin Impact, their Twitter, posted a bunch of, like, VA announcements and, like, portraits of these characters a while back, like, yesterday night. Aurora, in those, and I won't show them to you now, but in those portraits, all of the characters, all of the previous characters we've discussed, they have, like, a certain style. But Auroron's portrait, the style that they used in his art, it was different. It was this exact shot, but just zoomed in a bit closer. And to me, that denotes that there is something different about Auroron. And I think that it is because he is a Fatui Harbinger, the 10th Fatui Harbinger. And, you know, maybe the reason why we've never heard of him is because he's sort of like the secret agent, you know, this rogue that maybe not even the other Fatui members know of. Maybe only Capitano knows of Auroron. His design, he looks like a rogue. Very interesting stuff. And by the way, the like red, orange, and like green fire that we see in Natlan, and like in some of the previous trailers as well for Natlan, this is probably like the primal fire that is so special in Natlan, right? Or like, what's it called? The eternal flame? Like, this might signify, like, the eternal flame. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, when Nouvelette was introduced, the person who introduced him, his name was Xbalanque, and Xbalanque's title was the one entombed in eternal flame, or something like that, I think. I think this, like, green and red fire, sort of like Honkai Star Rail's Firefly, that this is, like, the eternal or like primal fire. There's something like special about this fire that is only found in Natlan.
Are you brave enough to compete?
Capitano has hair, by the way. I don't know why, I've never noticed that. But yeah, Capitano, you know, has the black hair here. Like, blends in with his, like, coat situation, but black hair. He is a human. He's not, like, some sort of demon monster, but, like, it's really intimidating. It's really imposing that this mask that he has, like, covers his entire face. But, like, you know, as we can actually see in this trailer, that there's sort of, like, an outline of a mouth and, like, a little bit of a nose if you zoom in. So, yeah, like, he's probably, like, just an average Joe, like, an average human, but maybe, like, not a monster, right? Not a monster crazy design. He has a human design, most likely.
to burn again. Even the tiniest of sparks will not go unnoticed.
What's that? That might be something related with primordial eternal flame. And it has like the 6 tribes of the symbols of the 6 tribes rotating around it, which I find pretty cool.
Time to burn again. Even the tiniest
I assume that those are the 6 tribes.
of sparks will not go unnoticed. Did you catch everything?
So she's talking to like this, right? This like glyph. Okay, we're gonna pause here. Do these symbols look familiar to any of you guys? I'm gonna pull up another video. I already have this video here. Wait. This isn't the right video. Hold on. I grabbed the wrong video. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Thorian. Okay. This guy up here looks a bit like this one. This one down here. If you look, or wait, no. Is that the correct? It looks a bit like this one. You have these 2 wing-looking structures curved around. That looks a bit like this guy over here. This one over here, you have the 2 like bat wings. Looks a lot like this one. And that's where things get a little bit difficult. Because as you can see, the rest of these, like the other 4 of these symbols, don't really match up with any of these like Saurian drawings, right? Like you have these 2 little triangles here. You have this one triangle, you have this other triangle. Like that does not match up with this Geosaurian image like all that well. And then you have these 2 things that are a little bit unclear what they are. I don't know. It's kind of cool though. Okay. I'm gonna just play the rest of the trailer.
What our eyes see ought to be our fate. But now, close your eyes and feel. For with our blood, we will forge our true fate.
I should have had captions on the entire time. My bad. Whoops. But yeah, that's the end of the trailer. Okay. I would like to talk a bit about what I think this is, because it's clear to me that Mavuika here is talking to this thing at the end of this trailer, you know, and she's like reaching out her hand. She's like closing the eyes of these 6 sort of fiery glyphs. In this entire teaser, we haven't seen Xbalanque. Is this Xbalanque? That's my question. Because he's known as the one entombed in Eternal Flame. That's making me think, like, is his spirit entombed in, like, this fire that we see here? Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to chew on that a bit more. I haven't had much time to think about that, but, like, that could be one of the answers as to who this is. Another answer, and this is a crazy one, by the way, Natlan has had Natlan has had multiple archons, correct? I forget. I think it's either Venti or Zhongli tells us that Inazuma, Sumeru, Fontaine, Natlan, and Snezhnaya, their current Archons, were not the original ones who won the Archon War. So that means Natlan, like most of the other regions, has at least has had at least 2 Archons in its past. What if Natlan has had multiple previous Archons? What if Natlan has had 6 previous Archons who all came from different tribes? And what if it's like cyclical? That, you know, it might be very coincidental that all of the Archons that I'm proposing like came from different tribes. But what if each of these flames and these sigils represent one of the previous Archons of Natlan? And this ties in to a bit. This ties in to the modernism seen in Mavuika's design. What if we get... Okay, let's presume that I am correct about there being multiple previous Archons of Natlan. Whether there are 6 of them, or maybe like 3 of them, or I don't know how many, but I'm just gonna say 6 because I see 6 little thingies here, and oh yeah, the number 6, right? What if there is a moment in the Natlan story, you know, this like Macbethian moment where in the play he sees like a line of kings, but in Genshin, like what if we see a line of like the previous Pyro Archons, and maybe one of them is Shabalanka, maybe one of them is Murata, right? And what if the further back we go, you know, the less modern the Archons, the design of the Archons become. Like, this is very punk, very modern. This is a very modern design, the current Pyro Archon. What if the Pyro Archon before her was slightly less modern? Like, maybe, I don't know, like, maybe, like, we do have, like, a Spanish conquistador model for one of the Archons in the past. And, like, what if before that there was, there's, like, this Aztec-looking Archon, and then before that, there's, like, this Mayan-looking, like, god or goddess or whatever, who was an Archon. And, like, the further back we go, the less modern each of the Archons look. And that is the reason why this current Archon looks very modern. I think this ties in very well with my assertion that a theme in Natlan will be reconciliation between the past and the present. Because in modern times, like, technology is advancing rapidly, and it's advancing exponentially as well, which means, like, it's speeding up, and there's an issue that comes from this exponential growth in modern technology, and that is that the younger generations of people on the earth today, they've grown up with all of this cool, like, fancy modern technology, phones and the internet, and, like, we're having things like VR and AI now. Things are they're expanding, like, really rapidly. Like, science is, like, booming now. However, there are all of these older generations, and they're struggling to relate to the modern world. They're struggling to keep up. And a lot of culture and a lot of traditions right now in the world are being lost due to, like, rapid industrialization, rapid movement of, like, technological growth, all of that. what if Natlan's story deals with that sort of issue, like reconciling the past with the present and potentially like the future as well. I think that is like a pretty cool direction to take it. And I think that explains why a lot of the, like, not even Mavuika, but a lot of the designs are very either like modern or futuristic or even like, like, oh, I forget his name, like Kinich over here, or even like, Kachina over here. Like, they have some pretty modern designs as well. And I think in Natlan, all of the characters that we're going to get, like, they might be taking us through the ages of, and they might be, like, taking us through time with all of these different cultures and all of these different eras coming together. That would be very interesting. And yeah, and I think that this very modern punk rock design for a Pyro Archon is really, really cool. And for people who like don't understand it or think it doesn't fit in with like the cultures of Natlan, I think my explanation that I just gave reconciles with that specific concern. So anyways, I think there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, it is war in Natlan. Wait, no. Oh my god, I wanted to talk about mounts. Okay, cool little like sidebar, cool little tangent. She literally looks like a motorcyclist. What if? Okay. Hear me out, right? In the previous teaser, we saw 3 of the characters, and we saw them riding mounts, right? We saw Walani riding like a shark mount. We saw Kinich. We see Kinich this teaser with a How, and we see Kachina last teaser in like a little Mario Kart drill mount. Okay, here is my pitch to Hoyo. Mavuika, the Pyro Archon, riding Koraidon, right? A fiery motorcycle dragon. That would be sick. Like a literal motorcycle fire dragon. And her being able to turn into a phoenix as well, like, that would be sick. Man. And you know, maybe this, I forgot her name already. Maybe Chaska. Maybe Chaska rides like a horse-like mount. I don't know what, like maybe Zillanin rides a jaguar mount. I don't know what Tsitlani would ride. Oh, maybe like a flying mount, right? Maybe because of the feathers in her hair. Yeah, real cool stuff. Real cool stuff. One last thing I want to talk about is the ritualistic war in Natlan. A lot of people, before they saw a bunch of Natlan stuff, assumed that Natlan was going to be like a war-torn nation. And when characters mentioned that Natlan was a region characterized by endless war, you know, people didn't have like a pretty-looking image in their mind. But now we're seeing this super vibrant, super colorful, super diverse landscape. And people are getting kind of confused. And I think that war is maybe a little bit of a miscategorization of what is actually happening in Natlan, because I think what's actually happening are these ritualistic battles in the arena. And perhaps this is how the people of Natlan settle, like, disputes. If the tribes have, like, problems with one another, maybe they can battle it out, and not have to kill each other and go to actual war. Maybe war is much more ritualistic in Natlan, and that this arena is where the majority of war happens, you know, quote-unquote war. I find that very interesting. And also, the specifics of how the war works. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the tournament. That is sort of like the entire theme of this entire trailer, right? These two, Kachina throws the ball at the beginning of this teaser, and like all of these characters are basically notified that there will be a tournament. The tournament is a recurring theme this trailer. And we're told that this tournament is like a yearly thing. Every year this tournament happens. I would like to take a guess at what this tournament actually looks like and what it entails. And, you know, we're probably going to be a part of this tournament when we get the Natlan story in a couple of weeks, by the way. I think there's no denying that we will be a part of this tournament, and we will see Capitano murk some folks, or maybe even participate ourselves. But yeah, let's see how these characters react to the news of this tournament. How is not very impressed. It says, son of a, in a very angry tone. Kinich says, pass. It's clear I don't want this. Maybe the tournament thing is like jury duty, right? Like, random people are called, but you have to partake. You have to partake in this, like, jury duty-esque, like, ritualistic war. Kinich is not very happy about this. How is less happy about this. Kinich says, pass, right? And gives it to Sitlani.
What the heck is that? Do I have to?
Do I have to? She clearly doesn't want to partake in this tournament as well.
Get out of here! Leave me alone!
Get out of here, leave me alone. Okay, so she clearly does not like the idea of partaking in this tournament. Zillinen's reaction is very interesting because she yawns and she says, is it that time of year again? But this reaction is very aloof to me, but not in like a clueless sense. I'm more thinking like in a sense that like this is small business to her, which makes her so badass, by the way, because that there is this like ritualistic tournament and this huge ass battle, and that she's being called for. Impression that she's very much like a veteran, right? A veteran of the arena, and that the fact that she's getting called to do battle again, like, it's no big deal to her. Like, she yawns. She doesn't think twice about it. She doesn't have a big reaction. She just says like, oh, it's this time of year again. I've been through 1,000 of these. This character has probably been through the ringer, and she is probably like very experienced in combat. It just bounces off of Yon-san's head. I find that very funny.
The tournament. I wonder if she's watching.
Chaska wonders if she is watching, and I don't know, like, it might refer to the Pyro Archon, it might refer to someone else, but it seems like Chaska is... it's a little bit somber. Like, she's not thrilled about this tournament. She's like, she ponders it for a while, and she wonders if, like, a certain person is watching. That gives me the sense that maybe she wants the glory, she wants whoever she is to be watching, because she wants, like, renown. She wants to make a name for herself. I think that, like, that's where she's at with the tournament. But, a lot of the characters that we see here, they're not particularly thrilled about this entire thing. Or at least they have, like, different reactions to the tournament. But how does it work? How does this tournament work? Do people actually get killed? I don't think people actually get killed. And, in the teaser where Dainsleif talks a little bit about Natlan, he says that those who lose the war, like, will be burned to ash, and the reason for that is the Pyro Archon has her reasons. But so maybe people actually do fucking, like, die, right? Like, actually die at this tournament. It's like the Hunger Games. But a part of... I don't know. A part of me thinks that that might be the case, but that might be a bit dark for Hoyo. So I think that people have the option to, like, surrender and keep their lives. But I think the final boss of this tournament is Mavuika herself. And I say this because later we're, like, teased that Mavuika and and Capitano, they're gonna have a face-off. Like, maybe Capitano is gonna want to take part of this tournament and decide to fight the Pyro Archon herself, right? But I believe that it is customary for people to fight the Pyro Archon, because I believe that that is how the Pyro Archon maintains her authority, maintains her, maintains her grasp and power over the people of Natlan. And maybe that's why they're, like, that maybe, like, could work well with my theory that there has been, like, many Archons in the past. Maybe the reason for that is not because, like, many cataclysms have befallen Natlan, but because the Pyro Archons keep killing each other and replacing each other, and they're being replaced by stronger and stronger and stronger Pyro Archons, right? And maybe, you know, for the past however many years Mavuika has been ruling Natlan, you know, like, the person who eventually challenges her at the end of the tournament, like, they've never been able to defeat her, and she either, like, kills them or spares them. But what if Capitano is different? What if Capitano actually is a shot to kill Mavuika, to obtain the Pyronosis, and to become the Pyro Archon? Or, you know, I don't think Capitano wants to become the Pyro Archon. I think, you know, he's working with these Aritza. He's against all of these gods, right? He's not a big fan of the gods. I think he's going to take the Pyronosis and he's going to spurn that power. He's going to disrespect it. He's going to be like, oh, Pyro Archon, psh, I don't need that. I'm going to kill the Pyro Archon. I'm just going to leave with the Pyronosis. I think that's his plan. I'm going to be very clear. I think that's his plan. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the Pyro Archon is going to die. Because, you know, presumably she's playable. I just think Capitano, that's Capitano's goal. He wants to kill the Pyro Archon and obtain his Gnosis. I don't think there's much debate over that. This trailer was so exciting. I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen in Natlan. I'm concerned a bit. I'm not too concerned. I think Hoyo will do an acceptable job at telling a respectful, first and foremost respectful, but awesome and like hype story. Fontaine's Archon quests were excellent, were top-notch. I think Natlan is going to raise the bar. So yeah. Man. Yeah, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. That's enough of me rambling. I am so excited for Mavuika. I'm so excited for Natlan. I'm definitely pulling for her. I'm going to start saving for her right the heck now. But yeah, anyways. I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I will have the Primordial 1 video done by either, like, the end of this week or early next week. That is my hope. But yeah. Stay tuned for that, the Primordial 1, and... Which, by the way, the fact that there has been a lot of Pyro Archons kind of works in well with my theory of the Primordial 1. I won't spoil what it is, but I really like the idea that there are multiple Pyro Archons, because that makes my theory a little bit stronger. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!